If you've ever tried to read a paleontology journal article, you'll have noticed that they're not easy to read. I've selected an article more or less at random, and I'm going to take you through how I worked it out. Now maybe it's not perfect, but it can give you an idea where to start. And if you've got any advice for me, you can let me know in the comments below. So start with the title. The first thing you'll notice is that it's full of jargon. It seems that writing for an educated audience outside your discipline is being ignored. So this is the first challenge. You probably can't tell much at all from the title, so you look in the abstract. Once again, unless you're already an expert in the field, this abstract won't mean anything to you. It's full of specialised paleontological jargon, so I had to look further. The next step, as you will know, is to look at the conclusion. So when I read through the conclusion, yet again, it's full of jargon. But there is a phrase that means something to me, so I highlight it. Thus, UEH avoids many vague characters. Thus is an important word. It denotes an actual conclusion, rather than merely a rehashing of what has been discussed. Thus also happens to be followed by one of the most readable phrases I've read in this article so far. Avoids many vague characters. So this article is advocating something to avoid vagueness. And following this phrase, it lists a lot of physical characteristics of fossils. So what we know just from this little phrase is that this article is evidence that something is wrong with the way fossils are observed and suggests improvements. So if this is not something you're interested in, you would look for another article. But I am interested in this, so let's continue. There are some visuals in this article, as you can see, so we can have a look at them. We're looking at comparing and contrasting features of fossils. That's about all that's immediately obvious from this. So now it's time to start reading the introduction. In this particular article, it's here that things start making more sense. It starts by talking about diversity of body plans and the Cambrian explosion. So it's talking about the evolution and the fossil record. It talks about most classification systems being somewhat misleading and that there is a disparity found in Paleozoic rocks worldwide. So it's presenting the problems with the current system. It acknowledges the value of a theory at the highest taxonomic levels. Taxonomy is the classification of animals. So this is a debate about how we classify animals. So that's helpful. But the key to the whole thing is the section after the introduction, because so far the key word that unlocks the whole article has not been explained. Here it is. Homology is the central concept of systematics and can be defined as similarity due to inheritance from a common ancestor. So now we know homology means trying to work out how closely related fossils are based on their appearance. Look back at the title. It now makes sense. Universal elemental homology in fossil creatures. Abstract. Universal elemental homology used to establish homology of body parts of fossil creatures. Conclusion. Universal elemental homology is a powerful tool. Look at the discussion section too. It all starts to make sense now. This article is advocating a new system for working out how fossils are related based on their appearance. This is not radically new. Fossils are already traced through a family tree based on their appearance, but it shows that the fossil record needs to be interpreted. It's not obvious what it means. Also, the authors make an interesting comment that positive change is difficult and slow because of the collective mass of the scientific literature. Real scientists don't reject an idea simply because it's not the scientific consensus. The biblical paradigm would suggest we study not only how fossils are related to each other, but if they are related at all. We would take homology to another level to try to work out what were the original kinds of animal that the various species adapted from. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this will help you to work out any kind of journal article, but especially a paleontology one. If you miss something, feel free to watch it through again. Feel free to use the subtitles and let me know if you found the video helpful. I'll see you next time.